Have you ever wondered how Jesus was known before his birth in Bethlehem? Was he really called Jesus, or was there something more hidden behind his identity in the times before his arrival? We invite you to join us on a revealing journey through the scriptures, where you'll uncover details that might completely transform the way you understand the Bible. What you'll discover here will both surprise and deeply inspire you. If you enjoy exploring questions like this, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss content like this. Now dive with us into this fascinating exploration. For centuries, a great mystery has accompanied those who reflect on the life of Jesus. Who was he before his earthly existence? Where did he come from? And what role did he play before being born into this world? Fortunately, the scriptures offer extraordinary answers, and today we will examine them in depth. The name Jesus, as we know it, originates from the Greek Isis, which in turn comes from the Hebrew Yeshua. Its meaning is clear and powerful. The Lord is salvation. But the truth is, Jesus didn't begin to exist that night in Bethlehem. His existence goes back far before that moment. And here's the astonishing part. Jesus didn't have just one name, but several, each reflecting unique aspects of his divine nature. Throughout this video, we will explore how these names reveal who he was and what he did before his earthly life. The Gospel of John begins with an impressive statement. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This Word John refers to is none other than Jesus himself. But why is he called this? Why not use another term to describe him? Let's delve deeper. In ancient cultures, names weren't just simple identifiers. They represented the essence, purpose, and destiny of a person. Calling Jesus the Word highlights his central role as the means through which God communicates his truth to humanity. To understand this even better, we need to analyze two fundamental Greek terms in the New Testament: Rhema and Logos. Both refer to the Word of God, but from different perspectives. Rhema describes a spoken word or a specific message, such as when the angel announced to Mary that she would give birth to the Son of God. On the other hand, Logos encompasses something much greater. It is God's eternal plan, the complete design of his purpose. John uses Logos intentionally when he writes, "In the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the Logos was God." What he reveals to us is extraordinary. That Logos, that divine message, became flesh and lived among us as Jesus. Now I ask you, have you ever felt that God is far away, inaccessible, or even silent? It's a feeling many have experienced throughout history. Despite the numerous ways God tried to communicate, through prophets, signs, and messages, he still seemed distant to many. Then something absolutely extraordinary happened. God did the unimaginable. He didn't just send words. His eternal message became a tangible person in Jesus. Jesus didn't come merely to deliver teachings. His very life was a demonstration of who God is. As he himself said in John 14, "Whoever has seen me has seen the Father." What was once abstract now became real. God was present, walking among people, healing, showing compassion, and offering forgiveness. Throughout the Old Testament, we find intriguing references to a figure known as the Angel of the Lord. However, this being doesn't seem to be an ordinary angel. He speaks with God's authority, acts with his power, and even receives worship, something no other created being is permitted to do. Could it be possible that Jesus was present in these moments before his birth in Bethlehem? Consider, for instance, the story of Jacob wrestling with God, or the remarkable scene in the fiery furnace where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego saw a fourth figure who looked like a son of the gods. These events are clear clues that Jesus was present long before his arrival on earth in human form. Additionally, the prophet Isaiah left us with a powerful prophecy written centuries before Jesus' birth. In Isaiah 9:6, we read, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." These names are not mere honorary titles. They reveal the eternal nature of Jesus, who was not created but has always existed. The evidence of this eternity is also found in one of the most profound prayers Jesus ever uttered. In John 17, Jesus opens his heart to the Father in a plea that reveals eternal truths. While the Bible contains many significant prayers, such as those of Solomon, Abraham, or Moses, this one stands out as unique. In it, Jesus speaks of the glory and intimate relationship he shared with the Father before the creation of the world. In John 17:1, Jesus says, "Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you." These words not only allude to the future glory Jesus would receive after his sacrifice, but also recall the glory shared between the Father and the Son from eternity. This is a crucial moment that reveals the divine connection between the two, a connection that transcends time and space. From the beginning, in Genesis, we see God acting in the creation of the world. But what we often overlook is that the word used for God in Genesis 1:1, Elohim, is plural, giving us a hint about God's triune nature: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This unity in diversity becomes clearer throughout the Scriptures and culminates in the words of Jesus in the Gospel of John. In this prayer from John 17, Jesus not only expresses his desire to glorify the Father through his life and sacrifice, but also highlights his pre-existence. Every act, teaching, and miracle he performed on earth was a manifestation of God's glory. Jesus was fully aware of his divine identity and the eternal relationship he had with the Father. Isaiah 42 reinforces this truth when God declares that he does not share his glory with anyone. Yet, Jesus not only shares that glory, but has possessed it since before creation, confirming that he and the Father are one and the same in essence and divinity. The Gospel of John is filled with moments that emphasize the glory of Jesus, from his miracles to his encounters with religious leaders. But the supreme act of his glorification did not occur during his teachings or miraculous signs. It took place in the sacrifice he made on the cross. It was in that moment that Jesus fulfilled his ultimate purpose: to redeem humanity, glorifying the Father and being glorified in turn. In John 17:24, Jesus prays, "Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you have given me, because you loved me before the creation of the world." These words reveal Jesus' desire to share his glory with all who believe in him, showing that our salvation is not just an act of grace, but part of an eternal plan rooted in a love that existed before time began. Finally, in Revelation, John has a vision of the glorified Christ, a Jesus who is no longer the humble man who walked the earth, but the heavenly King in all his majesty. In Revelation 1:12-13, John describes how he sees someone like a son of man standing among 7 lampstands, dressed in a long robe with a golden sash around his chest. This radiant Jesus is a powerful affirmation of his divinity and his eternal victory. The vision of Jesus that John witnessed in Revelation is far from any image of an ordinary man. His voice, described as powerful and resonant like the sound of a trumpet, was none other than the voice of Christ, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. This title, reserved solely for Yahweh, confirms that Jesus is the eternal Lord, the very God revealed in glory. In this vision, John describes details that place Jesus in a unique position beyond any celestial being. His attire, a long robe with a golden sash, evokes the image of the high priest. This emphasizes not only his role as king, but also as the supreme priest, the one who intercedes for humanity and offers the perfect sacrifice for the redemption of sins. The description of Jesus is awe-inspiring. His hair white as wool, his eyes like flames of fire, feet like polished bronze, and his voice like the roar of many waters. Each detail carries profound symbolism. His blazing eyes represent a gaze that penetrates every facade, revealing truth and judging with absolute justice. This portrayal echoes similar visions of celestial figures in the Old Testament, such as those in Daniel and Ezekiel, but Jesus surpasses even these images in splendor and majesty. His face, shining like the sun, reflects the very glory of God, making it clear that he is not merely an angel or messenger. Jesus is God himself, worthy of worship. Upon seeing this vision, John was completely overwhelmed, falling as though dead before the presence of Christ. Yet Jesus touched him and reassured him, saying, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last." These words serve as a reminder that, although Jesus lived humbly among men, he never ceased to be God. He is the eternal, almighty one who holds absolute control over life and death. In Revelation 1:18, Jesus declares, "I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I am alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and Hades." This declaration is a powerful assurance of his ultimate victory over sin and death. Jesus did not rise only to die again. His resurrection is eternal, and with it, he holds authority over the destiny of all humanity. Holding the keys to Hades signifies his control over the realm of the dead, reaffirming his sovereignty and the completeness of his redemptive mission. The book of Revelation, whose name in Greek means revelation, is exactly that, a divine unveiling of Jesus Christ. It is not a hidden text, but a message meant to be shared. Through this work, Jesus is not only presented as the center of all biblical prophecy, but as an active, living figure deeply involved in humanity's destiny. Many see Jesus as a historical figure, someone admirable for his teachings, but distant from our daily lives. However, this revelation shows us a glorious and present Jesus, whose purpose transcends history. Charles Spurgeon eloquently expressed it. God revealed this vision so that his servants might understand it and share it with the world. Revelation is not just a book of prophecies, but also a reminder that we must pay attention to the messages God has shared about the future. Although some believe prophecies are irrelevant until they are fulfilled, understanding them helps us be prepared and trust in God's divine plan. The book of Daniel also provides important visions that complement the message of Revelation. Both works are filled with symbolism and warnings that we must study diligently. Thus, we conclude this fascinating journey. We hope that the revelation about Jesus and his glory has deeply resonated in your heart, just as it did with John. Now, we want to hear your opinion. What impacted you the most from this content? We would love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our upcoming content. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and as always, see you next time.